Morning, Trainiacs. Just about to get into the old swim spa, and as you can see, I have a bevy of drying wetsuits here. The reason for that is right over here, we have the brand new Roca Maverick X2. This is their updated version of the Roca Maverick X. This is the wetsuit that is the top of the line that you will see in tons and tons of races, just a sea of people in this $1,000 wetsuit. So now, this is an awesome wetsuit. This is an awesomer wetsuit. The Roca Maverick X2 is an update. It's great. But the question for a lot of beginner triathletes is, do I need to spend $950 on a super high-end wetsuit when for about $200 on Amazon, you can get a triathlon wetsuit that has high reviews? So what I ended up doing was buying the cheapest triathlon wetsuit that I could find on Amazon, and I did 2 different swims with the new Roca Maverick X2 with the cheapest wetsuit I could find on Amazon. And what we're going to talk about are the differences of why one wetsuit is $200 and another wetsuit is $950, and what the differences are that might make one person buy one over the other. It's actually kind of interesting to me too, because I haven't swam in a $200 wetsuit in like 9 years. Ooh. All right, Trainiacs. So what we've got right here is the new version of the Roca Maverick X. This is the Roca Maverick X2. Price correction, this is $975 US. This is the wetsuit that I race in. This is what I really like. If you want to rip a fast race and have your swim be just as comfortable as if you're frolicking around in a Speedo in the pool, this is the wetsuit that you want. But it's more expensive than this. This is a $229 wetsuit off of Amazon. It's a Synergy wetsuit. Now, I haven't just gone and cherry picked like the cheapest wetsuit that I could possibly get that the Roca would obviously beat. Right here on the box, we've got the Synergy wetsuit that says it was the editor's choice for Triathlete magazine, best in class for Triathlon magazine. It is Triathlete's Gear Lab fastest overall, Amazon's bestseller, and Lava magazine's best bang for your buck in neoprene. So it's a fairly well-designed wetsuit. Before we get into the differences between these, let's get into the differences between these, the original Roca Maverick X and the Maverick X2. First off, the Maverick X2 has 7% more buoyancy. More buoyancy, great thing for age group triathletes, gets us higher up in the water, and it gets us more streamlined. We're swimming more efficient. Second thing is that the ankle cuffs in the Roca Maverick 2, they're designed a little bit differently. One of the issues that I had with the Roca Maverick X is that if I didn't have a wetsuit stripper, which is at most, say, non-Ironman races, you've got to take off your own wetsuit, the ankle cuffs were a little bit hard to get off. In this case, much easier to get off. That's also going to lead to less likelihood of, if you are at a race that there is a wetsuit stripper, that the ankle tears. In actually a lot of cases, what I was hearing pros would do with the original Maverick X is they would actually cut the bottom of the ankle cuff so that it would come off easier. I don't think that's going to be the case with this. And then the third thing is that there is a new taping pattern inside the wetsuit. This X is what gives the Roca Maverick X its name, and this X is what gives you some core stability. And it's the structure of this torso build here with the panels, with this taping, that stops you from wiggling in the water. It gives you that really nice straight line without your legs going side to side. So is this Roca Maverick X2 radically different than the Roca Maverick X1? No, I didn't notice a massive difference. I noticed a little bit of difference in the buoyancy. I noticed that just the good things about the Roca Maverick X were still good with this, just slightly better. But if you don't have access to a Maverick X2, and you want to just get the one, or if you can get the Roca Maverick X1 at a cheaper price and save a little bit of money, you're still really going to have a great wetsuit with either one. This is just a slight refinement from the original. But that's not what you're here for. You're here to find out if you can spend $229 and get yourself a good triathlon wetsuit. The answer to that, spoiler alert, yes. This is a decent triathlon wetsuit. If all you want to do is finish your race, you can by all means get through it in this. It's not really going to be a massive detriment, but it's certainly not going to enhance your performance. And I'll talk about the differences. First thing that you're really going to notice is just the material. Touching the Roca Maverick X and looking at it, you see that there's so many different panels that are welded together in all different thicknesses. From thicker material in the legs to really, really thin material in the shoulders to absolutely just minuscule material on the forearms so that you can feel the water with your catch. Now, you do have different thicknesses in the Synergy, but I don't think that's for performance enhancement. I think that's so this can actually be used. The big issue that I have with this is that the material is so tight. It's like canvas. So I think that they actually went to thinner material in certain areas, not for performance enhancement, but so that you can actually use it. Even with the thinner materials, which on the surface, the specs between this and the Roca Maverick X are very, very similar, and you'd think, well, 2mm neoprene is 2mm neoprene. Well, no, not quite. 2mm neoprene with the Roca Maverick X2 is much more supple, much more natural. You feel less constricted. Before I even got into the water, I started feeling really tight in my shoulders, and even though I did just 15 minutes in the water, I was starting to feel very taxed by this. There's no give to this. So you're going to definitely give up a certain amount of comfort. Your arms are going to get a lot more tired. You are going to get a lot more fatigued and be a lot more constricted, so you're not going to function in your natural range of motion. Next thing that I noticed a difference in is function. With the Roca Maverick X2, with the first swim that I did, I swam dead straight, and I noticed that my feet and hips were bang up right to the surface of the water. My feet were actually kicking out and my heels were hitting the pool cover while I was doing that swim. That's because this is designed to have more buoyancy in the legs, less buoyancy in the chest. It gets those legs up and keeps them from sinking so that you're nice and streamlined in the water. With the Synergy wetsuit, even though it has all those different thicknesses between the legs and the torso, I didn't feel that difference in buoyancy whatsoever. I actually felt basically just as sinky as when I don't have a wetsuit whatsoever. My legs were low in the water, so I wasn't very streamlined. It wasn't a good experience as far as buoyancy goes. It was more buoyant than if I didn't have a wetsuit, but not significantly so. So if you're not confident in the open water and you want a little bit of buoyancy to help pop you up so you don't feel like you're sinking, probably not the wetsuit for you. As far as durability goes, that's one place that I would actually say that the Maverick X2 is probably going to lose out to the Synergy. In my experience, what I actually have found is that these really high-end wetsuits that just have this supple material all around the shoulders, they tend to get fingernail cuts a lot easier. I've actually had a Roca suit that wore out. However, I was training for marathon swims at the time, so doing open water swims of like 15K, but the armpit actually wore down and it wore holes in it. What I actually train in is the entry-level Roca Maverick Comp, which is $350. This has a lot of the same shoulder flexibility and a lot of the features as far as comfort, as far as fit, as far as nice arm cuffs and heel cuffs that don't drag in the water that Roca is known for. This is a great wetsuit, and for $350, I'd actually say that this is probably a better buy than the $229 wetsuit, because this is going to be very, very durable. It's going to allow you to train. You're actually going to be a little bit warmer if you're just using it for training because it's a little bit thicker, and you are going to get a very durable wetsuit. So this is actually what I do a lot of my open water training in. And then a couple of things that are kind of just like basic good wetsuit design is, does it add to drag or does it make you a better swimmer? Ideally, you want to be faster with a wetsuit on than without. A lot of elite swimmers actually find that they're slower, but most age group swimmers find that they're faster because we're so much more buoyant. In my case, I had to actually feel like I was working harder, and I think the reason for that is for two reasons. Number one, this rear area here, like this whole business, what's going on here, this was huge. This was really big, really bulky. It felt like I was basically, wearing a neck brace. And that is going to cause a lot of drag because a lot of water I could feel was scooping there. And in addition to that, that's all gonna rub along your neck. Not the case with the Roca Maverick 2. All of the collars, all of the cuffs, oh my goodness, I'm getting so old. All of the heel cuffs, all of these, it's nice and tight. It's not an area that picks up drag. I actually felt quite a bit of drag in a few areas where the current was coming into the arm cuffs here and it was grabbing there. So even though the rest of the suit was really tight, had a lot of flap here in the back of the neck, on the cuffs, and especially here on the ankle cuffs. I think that what they did was they actually cut these off short at an angle because it's so tight that to be able to kick it off easily, which you can, they had to cut it off so that we can see here. You can see the Roca Maverick X has a narrower cuff, but it has this built-in, really stretchable piece inside, whereas this, it's just cut off short. That means that because it's cut off short, yeah, you are gonna be able to kick it off, but there's less neoprene here, meaning less buoyancy. It's also like floppy. Everything in this was floppy despite it being the proper fitting suit for my torso and my legs, which is critical, but all of these areas were floppy, creating drag. So of course, the $975 Roca Maverick X2 beat out the $229 Synergy Amazon wetsuit. But does that mean that I wouldn't recommend people buy the $229 Synergy wetsuit? Yes. I think that if you're looking at that $229 price tag, what I would get actually is the $350 Roca Comp. And if you go to roca.com/Taren, right now you can enter to win yourself a free Roca Maverick X2. And B, if you don't win that Roca Maverick X2, you can get 20% off this. So instead of $350, it's $290. So that's it, the Roca Maverick X2. Obviously, it's gonna be a much better wetsuit than the cheapest thing that you get on Amazon. If you're looking for a fast wetsuit, this is it. If you wanna win this and an entry to the Ironman race of your choice, go to roca.com/Taren, just enter your email address, and we're currently running a giveaway where everyone who enters can win one of these or a entry into the Ironman race of their choice in 2021. And if you don't win, like I say, you can get 20% off any wetsuit. I'd say buy your wetsuit from Wetsuit People, not necessarily Amazon. Sorry, I wanted to like you, but it just wasn't great. Who am I gonna sell this to now? Later, Trainiacs.